Does your neck hurt? Here's some self-myofascial release techniques that will help unlock your neck, get you feeling better. What's up everybody? Coach Zach here with Team Criticalbench, and in this video we're talking about your neck, how you can release the muscles and fascia of your neck with myofascial release. If you haven't seen the previous video where I go in detail about what is myofascial release in the first place, go ahead and check out that video right here. Most people complain about the back of their neck hurting, and when you go to most massage therapists, they mostly just rub on the back. However, the muscles in the front of the neck need just as much attention, and the easiest muscle that you can get into yourself is the Sternocleidomastoid, the SCM. This muscle connects all the way up to the mastoid process just behind the ear, and it comes down, connects to the clavicle, the collarbone, and then the other part of it connects to the sternum. So you can put your hand on your sternum and your clavicle, hand on your mastoid process, is this muscle right here. The way we're gonna get into the sternocleidomastoid is, let's say I wanna work on the right one. I'm gonna bring my right ear to right shoulder. What this is gonna do, it's gonna make it easier to grab. And then from here, it's gonna be easy to find on most people, but you're gonna take your thumb, your index, and your middle finger, and you're just gonna try to grab it, right? You'll find that it's that muscle that is right behind the ear all the way down to the clavicle. It's the easiest muscle to grab, the biggest, the strongest in most people. And then all you're gonna do once you can grab it is with your fingers, you're just gonna compress it. So you're just gonna squeeze it. You can find it, and then from there, you can kind of bring your head back to neutral once you got a good grasp of it. It might be easier to start down and towards the bottom. And then you could just work your way up. Now, if you find that you feel a pulse of any kind, move away. You got your carotid artery right here. We don't want to compress that. So if you feel a strong pulse, move away. You also don't want to be doing this when you're driving, right? We have a lot of nerves and a lot of structures in the neck that if you push on it, you could pass out. You don't want that, so don't do this when you're driving. And you can work all your way up to as far as you can get it, so like probably just under the ear. So that's just compressing it, bringing some blood flow to this muscle. And then from there, what you can do is you can compress it, and then you can bring some opposition. So right here, this motion here where the fingers go in opposite directions. So again, you can grab it, you can come up, and then you can just do some of that compression with opposition. Going all the way down, all the way up, just finding some tight spots. And once you find a tight spot, you can hold it, breathe. You can hold it for anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes, some small compression, some frictions, and just go ahead and be intuitive with it. Once you know the structure and the anatomy, you can let your intuition guide your hands. Now we're gonna get into the sides and the back of our neck. You're gonna need a lacrosse ball. Now, if a lacrosse ball is too much, you can also use a tennis ball, or maybe even a softer ball. Lacrosse balls are great because they really allow you to get that pressure that you need to be able to unlock the fascia and open up the structures of the body. So we want to find the occipital ridge, which is that point right where the neck turns into the head. You'll find this little bump right here. And then what you want to do is you want to take that lacrosse ball in the palm of the hand, and you want to go just under the occipital ridge. What you can do is you take the other hand on the head and just kind of bring the chin down to the opposite armpit. So if I'm holding the ball in my right arm to get into the right side of my neck, you want to bring the left chin down to the armpit. From here, you can just rest, push down into it, find some sweet spots, and then breathe. You can even do a little bit of a pin and stretch by finding that tension before you bend the head down. So push into it, and then from there, you can begin to stretch. You hold that for a couple seconds, come back up, work your way down a little bit. Here we're working on the upper traps. They connect all the way up to the neck, right up here. But we can also go into the scalenes and more of the lateral musculature of the neck. You just come a little bit to the side. Same concept. You just bring the ear to the shoulder, work your way down, finding the spots, 2 to 5 minutes if you can. Finding your pain threshold. You can do that pin and stretch where you hold it. Bring the ear to the opposite side. Again, this is highly intuitive when you're doing this yourself. So just take your time, let your body guide itself, right? So I'm giving you the techniques, but feel free to play around with whatever feels best for you. Now we'll get into the suboccipitals, where if you remember from before, that occipital ridge where the neck turns into the head, you want to get just under there where these tiny little muscles are, and they can affect so many different things. If you deal with headaches, if you deal with blurry vision, this can even help you improve your vision by releasing these muscles. So what you're going to need is you're going to need a lacrosse ball and a couple of books. Now you want some thick books, and what you can do is you can stack books to find the perfect height. You want to go easy on this one, right? This can be a little intense, especially with a harder lacrosse ball. So then you want to place the lacrosse ball on the books, and you want to find that occipital ridge right in the middle. You want to rest there just for a moment. We don't want to put too much pressure there because the brain stem is right there. So once we find that spot right where the head turns into the neck, we want to look to one side. So if I'm looking to my left, the ball will go to the right. And you just want to find some spots again. You can focus on tucking your chin or lifting your chin up. Just kind of play around, find a spot, and then breathe, hold, 2 to 5 minutes. Focus on sinking, on melting down into the ball. Focus on letting that tissue release more and more. Once you find a spot too, you can bring some small movements, maybe some little nods, yes, up and down. Maybe you go cross fiber, side to side. You can work your way all the way to the side. Again, anything that's really tight or tender needs a little more attention. All right, we really want to get fluids to this area to hydrate it, to start that healing process. Again, 2 to 5 minutes, and then you can go to the other side. Again, nice and slow, you can bring the movements. And then again, 2 to 5 minutes on that side. Now your neck is not the only area where self-myofascial release can have a positive effect on the tissues. You can do these techniques on a lot of different areas of the body that might be causing you pain and dysfunction. To check out those videos, make sure you smash that subscribe button down below, drop a like, leave a comment with any questions that you may have. As always, I'm Coach Zach with Team Criticalbench, and I'll see you next time. Yeah.